Everybody, this is GWReborn. Today I have a video with pretty much Monkway for heroes you can use in all of PvE, normal mode and hard mode. I have done a little bit of testing with it just to kind of see how it works because monks are not really known for damage dealing, but let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to be using a 3-monk triple hero setup with a Smite, Prot, and Protection hero, one of each, and then 2 monk henchmen followed by 2 damage dealer heroes. I'm going to show you all of the stuff and then do some PvE testing with it. So welcome to my channel. Hit the subscribe button and like if you're enjoying this, and check out all details in the description if you want to know everything about everything when it comes to this video: templates, runes, weapon gear, etc. I'm going to be damage dealer as my own profession, and since I am monk, I'm using Ray of Judgment. Any profession, go damage dealer. Since it is a monk, you're going to have more heal support across multiple heroes and henchmen if you decide to use those. And if you don't want to use henchmen, you could add 2 more heroes in. Since this is a Monkway style systematic build team, I wanted to use 2 monk henchmen. You could do 1 monk henchman and then add an additional hero if you want. So I'm using RJ. You don't really need to know all of my template stuff. We're going to start with the first one you're going to use is a Smite monk. So if you want to use Smite, I personally want to have one of each profession, just kind of have a strategic way of testing out different heroes with this. And this is the way I'm using. I'm using a Ray of Judgment, Smiter monk with a couple of damage dealers, and Paragon secondary with fallback and stand your ground. That's just going to help with some of the hero armor support as well as kind of speed boost to the areas. And 16 always when it comes to this, since I'm going to be using consets. Consets aren't required, but it helps. A 20/20 Smite and Offhand for your wand and offhand, so 40/40 set. And then there's all of your runes you need for it if you decide to copy this and mimic it. I like to use Anchorites, insignias on all of my monks because of the additional armor boost for recharging skills between 1 and 5, so up to 15 additional armor. Armor I feel like is the most optimal over energy or health because it's going to help support when you get in the midst of a battle, and they're always going to have at least 3 or more recharging skills majority of the time, and just the extra armor helps with them not having to die KO as fast. And of course, this is the Smite gear setup. And if just want to say real quick, if this is not the most optimal way of doing a hero Monkway system, but if you have any suggestions or quality of ways to improve, let me know in the description by commenting after reading the description and, of course, watching the whole video. Now on to the secondary monk. I'm going to be using a spear, 20%, 10% half cast monk spear, and then of course a 20/20 offhand for the healing, 16 healing, 13 divine, using the elite skill unyielding aura in case somebody does die real quick, I can res them with full health and energy. And of course it also will help with additional heal support, and doing that 20% enchantment gives me a lasting longer length for healing seed and vigorous spirit. And then of course a couple of other heal spells here. Most of the spells you try to gear around a 5 energy, not a 10 energy loss. Somebody could, if you want to adjust the build to have heal party, but I like to just use 5 energy. It just makes it a little bit easier on the energy for these heroes. And let me go ahead and open up these panes so you can kind of see how their health looks as well as their energy. And then, of course, I'm using 2 Mesmers. We'll talk about in a second. So the third and final monk on my hero 3 triple setup is Prot. I chose to do Shield of Regeneration. Of course, the other monk skill I considered to use was either Life Sheath or the Zelius Benediction, but since I'm having an additional monk for healing and henchman, I won't need that. More of a prot support with the additional armor elite, followed by a couple of other basic generic protection prayers and 16 prot. And I didn't really want to get another setup for my monk since I only usually use 2 monks. This is just an entertainment video, but I do have a 20% enchanted weapon and a offhand with +1 30 HP. I would definitely recommend doing a 40/40 prot set. I think I have it in the description, but this is just for this video. And I have a +3 +1 for my headpiece, and then Anchorites, just like I mentioned on the other setup with the other monk having Anchorites, and then Divine +1 for both of the heal support, Prot and Divine for your 2 monks that are doing healing. And then, of course, the additional other slots are Attunement and a Vigor on all 3. So that's the concept for my triple monk setup. And of course, I have two monk heroes that I'm going to be having, which is Prot and Healing. Some areas may have a damage dealing monk with Smite, but majority are going to be Prot. So you're going to want to have a heavy focus on that. You could even consider running one monk heal and then the other two as Smite, but I'm using this concept. So it's a little bit more on the strong defense, less offense. So a strong defense equals a strong offense. So it may not be as optimal for some areas, especially when you go into high damage dealing requirements. So two Mesmers using Energy Surge, a little bit of a deviation between the two bars. I've done other videos I put in the description with like Mesway or Ellieway I recommend you checking out, or all the other template build videos I've showed you on the playlist. Those are kind of like explain the same concept with the Mesway system. But two Mesmers, for some reason Mesmers just deal really strong damage and sometimes armor ignoring. Don't really have to explain everything. Just run 16 Domination and 40-40 Domination for your offhanded wand. And then, of course, I run Prodigy for armor support on both of my Mesmers. And then, of course, like a Vigor, fast casting +1, and then attunements. So that's pretty much the gist of this concept of this video for all of the builds. And I'll show you some PvE action real quick as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button. I did want to also mention, make sure you have your Mesmers or your damage dealers set to attack or fight. Make sure you have it set to guard for the others and then attack for your smite. If you decide to do two smites, then just do attack on both of those. And I'm going to be running a con set, so my health on my heroes are a little low right now, but with the con set gives you additional health and energy, so it does help. But of course, it's not required, but I always like to run cons. They are very beneficial, and time is everything. So optimize your output of time by using consets. If you don't know what a conset is, it's a consumable you can get at like Embark Beach for armor, celerity, and the Grail. So let's go ahead and test out this build. If you're not going to be a monk as your main damage dealer, it could be any profession. You can just pretty much damage deal since you got a lot of actual monk heal support on your back end between your henchmen if you're running henchmen and the actual henchmen are your heroes, of course. So there's my damage dealers. Let's put those there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go in. Let me pop my concept. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. I do a lot of different Guild Wars content. This is a little bit of different, more vlogging style video for entertainment just because I want to make a video for different hero concepts. I already did an Elementalist and a Mesmer scheme. I felt like I needed to do a monk one, and I'll eventually be coming around with a ranger, a warrior, and a derv, and pretty much any of the opportunities where you could do three different professions of the same hero concept, just because it's fun, something different and unique. This is definitely not going to be the most optimal damage dealing hero setup. More high-end defense, so guaranteed more often to not die, but a lot more on the slower end, so not as fast paced, but you're still going to be highly successful using this. And then I'm using Ray of Judgment. I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of examples of some areas that work just to kind of trial out this build concept of the monks. For the end of the video, I'll leave it at that with 5 different areas for you to kind of see how it's functioning around challenging foes and hard mode. And I do appreciate y'all watching my videos. And stay tuned for more Guild Wars content. Check out all details in the description. If you want to know more about the build templates, gear, armor, and of course the playlist for other hero setups. And enjoy the music, and I'll see you on the next video.